Yeah, you hear me? Real shit. There's something else I wanted to say too about being an observer, you hear me? You don't just have to observe what a nigga saying or the facial expression. You hear me? Eye movements, you hear me? Hand movement, body movements, all that shit, you hear me? That's not just all fucking being an observer. You gotta also listen to a nigga tone. His tone of voice, you hear me? The way he asks questions or the way she asks questions. You get what I'm saying? Then you understand, you hear me? When a nigga trying to use you for information, you hear me? Or any type of shit like that, you hear me? It's their tone of voice that give it away. Their facial expression is what gives it away. You hear me? So you gotta be able to piece all these fucking things together so you can have a clear understanding of what this person is trying to do. You hear me? Or you get what I'm saying? Or they plan or whatever that they have lined up. You get what I'm saying? You hear me? That's just how it is. You hear me? Yeah, you hear me? You gotta also listen to a nigga tone of voice. You hear me? That's how you know whether or not, you hear me, nigga fuck with you or not. You hear me? If a nigga trying to use you or not. You hear me? All that. You hear me? You just gotta have true discernment. You hear me? I mean, you can see a nigga doing this or that. You hear me? Yeah, it may not be that. You get what I'm saying? So that's the whole point of letting things play out. You get what I'm saying? Because the more it play out, you hear me, the more information you get, rather than just assuming and hopping straight inside. You get what I'm saying? You diving in head first, you hear me? You bound to hit a fucking wall. You hear me? You bound to go clean to the bottom. You hear me? And fuck yourself up. You get what I'm saying? You hear me? So you really gotta listen. You hear me? Let shit play out the way it's supposed to play out. You hear me? And then once all that energy is gone, you hear me? You don't feel like it's going on. Then you piece your information together. You hear me? Oh, bam. All right. Woo, 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 woo. Oh, I see it now. You get what I'm saying? And that's what's gonna keep you up for sure. You hear me? You paying attention to your surroundings. You hear me? You paying attention to the sounds you hear. You hear me? But even a nigga tone of voice, you hear me, gonna always give it away. They got some people who really can't hide the fact that they want to get information from you. You hear me? But they try to hide it. You hear me? But they can't. You get what I'm saying? Niggas be smirking and shit, laughing. You hear me? You can see their whole facial. You can see their whole facial change. You hear me? Then you know. Oh, all right. I see. He asking me this, or he telling me this because he want me to respond like this, or he trying to get this from me to see what I say. You get what I'm saying? And then once you give them the information that they want, they go back and go run and tell other fucking people. You hear me? That's why niggas don't know what it is to be silent. You hear me? Really be real. You get what I'm saying? Like, I'm just give you another example. Let's say for example, I got a nigga I fuck with, right? He cool, whatever like that. You hear me? And they got somebody else, you hear me, who don't fuck with him. You get what I'm saying? Or he might fuck with him a little bit, you hear me? Whatever. And I'm just giving you a scenario, you get what I'm saying? Let's say it's a nigga that I fuck with, you hear me, and there's somebody else who don't fuck with him. You get what I'm saying? Just cause I fuck with him don't mean I'ma go back and go tell this nigga information. You get what I'm saying? You hear me? It's a difference when it's a threat. You get what I'm saying? Oh man, look, this nigga said he gonna do this to you. Woo, 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 woo. You get what I'm saying? It's a different when it's a threat. But if it's just verbal, nigga just talking, you hear me? There's no need for me to tell this man this. You hear me? That's why you have them fucking 4 boxes. You hear me? You stay in your box. You hear me? Cause if a nigga was to say this, you hear me? You go double back and go tell this nigga. Nigga think you a rat. You hear me? Nigga think you a rat because you said this and that. You get what I'm saying? But the difference from me and other people, you hear me? I speak the truth. You hear me? If a nigga come ask me what it is, what's this or what's that, you hear me? I'ma let you know. You hear me? I'ma be real with you. You know what I'm saying? But everybody don't deserve your energy. You heard me? You have to really have discernment on and you have to be real specific on who you giving your energy to. You heard me? Because a nigga gonna definitely try to take your shit, you heard me, and flip it on you. You hear me? Make it seem like you the bad guy. You hear me? When you really not. You hear me? They only flipping it to make it seem like you the bad guy because they don't understand the information that you giving. You get what I'm saying? You hear me? Since they don't understand that shit, you hear me? I ain't gonna say they feel stupid. You get what I'm saying? They really think you dumb. You hear me? Because you speaking from a higher level. You hear me? And a nigga not up there. You hear me? Nigga still living in a box. You get what I'm saying? So when it comes to certain information, you hear me? If you trying to help that nigga get out the box, you gotta give that nigga information that's inside the box that's gonna help him get out. Get what I'm saying? You can't be outside the box and give him information from outside the box. You hear me? Because he not gonna understand it. He's not gonna be able to see it. You get what I'm saying? So that's why you have to leave shit at a small level, you hear me, for their personal understanding. So you speak from the box. You hear me? Because you've been there before. So you got to speak from the box for them to understand it. You get what I'm saying? I love y'all, you hear me? Real shit. I'ma fuck with y'all.